Hi, I'm Stephan Jost. I'm director of the Honolulu Museum of Art. I've just got done with juroring the competition for Art Maui 2014, which has been actually exciting, pretty fun. We've had over 500 submissions, and so there's been a great team of volunteers who have been assisting this morning, and it went quite quick. And people are like, wow, that went fast. And the reason it went fast is because there's a lot of good art. And so usually when there's good art in an exhibition, you can really zoom in on what kind of comes forward. One of the things we also decided at the beginning is that although there were 500 submissions, that we were going to keep it under 100 because I think it's important that whoever gets accepted into the exhibition, that their art looks good, that there's enough room and enough place to display it. So what I thought I'd do is just walk over and we can look at a couple works, so come on. I've got to confess that I don't know the artists in Maui very well, so it was all done blind, and it was all done from the heart, and you know, I just haven't been in Hawaii long enough to really have to be able to see everybody's art and know who it is. So it was pretty honestly done. I've got to admit, I cracked up when I saw this work. It's you know, a beautifully carved, beautifully painted tuna, you know, that's been sliced open as if it's just arrived off a boat, and you know, fresh tuna in Hawaii, fresh sushi, and they've made these beautiful little plates with sashimi on it. It's just kind of elegant, really well done, but also it's of this place in a way, and it's kind of a fresh way to do it. There was also lots of different media, but I had a real soft spot for this piece here, which is, you know, a sea urchin of some sort, but it's almost like an analytical, a clinical. And what attracted me to this piece is actually that it's not romantic. And in Hawaii, I think we're always fighting the romance of the place. We're always fighting the sense of the picturesque. And what I liked here, it was just really scientific view, but beautiful, clean, well done. I had the similar response to this artist's work, where it's almost like a snowflake, but just beautifully executed. And also I love how the artist has left enough space around it to really, really breathe. There was artists here, behind here, who did, it looks like they're kind of fires from the cane, and there's a whole series of really nice works that kind of capture the light and the color of Maui without necessarily the kind of poetic sunset. It's a challenge here because the beach scene and the poetry of of Maui can become very conventional also, so it's always tricky. There were a huge number of really great landscapes. I included some, but I didn't let it, my hope is that it doesn't overwhelm the show, because I think we need to make sure that the conversation about this place is broader. I would have liked to see more work that had some sort of social critique or some sort of edge to it. There's a couple pieces that have that, but I'd like to have seen more of that, because I think that art can really excel and really kind of blossom when there is some sort of conflict or tension and debate. And I think that sometimes in a small community, it can go two ways. There can either be this real blossoming because of a tension and a debate, or everything can rush to the middle ground. And so my hope is that the artists of Maui choose to, I want to say pick fights with each other, but choose to engage each other and choose to challenge each other, because in a small community or a smaller community like Maui, it's very possible for the quality of art to go dramatically up very quickly because a group of 10 or 20 people decide to engage in a critical dialogue. Something I think about is how, you know, Van Gogh and Gauguin, where, you know, they took vacation together. By all accounts, they're jerks, right? But they did know each other and engage. You know, Picasso and Braque knew each other. Warhol and Basquiat knew each other. It's one of those things where it's not about geography, but is there a group of artists who challenge each other to raise the quality? And I think all the DNA, kind of the technical quality is here. But you know, that's kind of my challenge back. It's good, but I think it could be great. And that's going to be a choice, whether the artistic community and the collectors, and, you know, are there collectors to buy adventurous work here? I don't know that question, but, you know, it's always a kind of an ecology there. A couple other works. I love the surface on this one. Just, you know, it's gorgeous. That was There was a really kind of little, it's a, us, it says, can be revoked at any time. That sense of a relationship and that sense of the shortness of our lives. And then there's a poem or a statement about cancer and a relationship. This artist here does quilt making. I have a big soft spot for textiles and quilts. And let me just show you. So these are, my background was in Shelburne Museum in Burlington, Vermont, or just outside, which has an extraordinary collection of quilts. And this is just really beautifully done. It's kind of that merging of, I would say in some ways, photography and quilt making. And I liked that. It's just technically really good. So that was nice to see. Again, I don't know these artists, but it's been great to see their work here. A couple more works just to point out. I know, great sense of color, atmosphere, and quite honestly, knowing when to stop. There's a tendency for painters all over the world to overwork painting, and this artist just knows how to capture some atmosphere and stop, not go too far with the expressions, not too far with the details. I also liked this painting here of this man, and a couple things that I liked about it was it's got a 70s feel to it in a good way. It's kind of the Alfred Leslie feel. There's I don't know the artist, but it's got a really tight but actually quite sophisticated color palette, and it doesn't seem stale. Sometimes when you get a portrait, say if there's a photo basis behind it, it can kind of, or not a photograph behind it, it can kind of be awkward because it takes time to do. But here I think they've managed to hit that line of being a formal portrait while not losing a sense of immediacy, I'd say. Great water image here. I would just say beware of the wave. The crashing wave is so seductive. It's like right there with palm trees, and if you're going to use those things as your subject matter, you've got to do it damn good and in an original way. And I think this has a certain sense of, I don't know if it's glass or water, but it has that sense of light and color and depth that I appreciated. Should bring attention also to some furniture that's pretty darn high quality. I don't make a difference between fine art and craft. I just think, my question is it good or not? And I was pretty impressed by the quality of craft. I see that on many of the different islands, and I think it's something we should celebrate and embrace. It's conservative, but it's good. We've got this gigantic giraffe here too, which I think will be a nice anchor for the exhibition. Some of the smaller works, this one here had this real 40s sensibility. If I would have seen this at at an antique shop, I would have said, oh, 1940s Ben Shahn kind of feel. And I don't know if this person is coming out of that tradition or rediscovering it. Either way, I think it's a win because if it's coming out of that tradition, great. It's the last hurrah of 40s painting. And if it's somebody rediscovering it, fantastic, because I think it's important that American paintings in the 1940s, I think is one of those, pre-ABEX is actually really important and darn good. These were two quirky paintings. This was a kind of a stencil. I liked it. It's kind of got a kind of real design sensibility. And here I'm honestly kind of baffled by it, but I was intrigued enough to include it because there's something really, it's got this like orange ear out of a face, but it's this kind of freshness to it. Something like this could become trite really quickly or overworked. And so the artist had an idea, did it, and then kept on moving. I'm baffled by it, but I like it. This is just beautifully executed. So that's a couple of my comments. I'm sorry I haven't spoken about everybody's work, but I hope that we've done a good selection. We had a great team of volunteers to kind of go through, and they were very good about holding back their opinions because I think they all know you. But they were very good about that. I also hope that the installation crew does a good job. I have selected several installations, and some of those are really strong. So don't stop doing the installations. They're in the new media. Several people are using new media, and that's great. I love when I start to see new media painting or new media and sculpture starting to that those lines get blurred. You know, that's a good thing. Also, a couple pieces of jewelry got on as well. So I think a lot of the media was represented, but that wasn't my top concern. My top concern is what are the strong pieces, and just these are all according to my mood and impulse this morning. So I'm sorry I couldn't include everybody. Those aren't part of the rules of the game. And the other thing is I tried to edit back, so again, so that the show looks good, so that when people come and see your work, that they want to see more. Don't be embarrassed to sell it. You know, make sure that these works of arts end in people's homes. Be bold, ask people to buy stuff, because at the end of the day, you know, works of art in somebody's houses helps you financially, but also helps the public enjoy and take pride that there's good artists. And I also think that some of this money gets kicked back into a scholarship program. The second part of today's jobs was juroring some high school students, and was really, I think because of this organization, we were able to give 3 $2,000 grants out, and the kids are great. They're really super smart, and my hope is that the money helps us make that last step. So thank you very much, and enjoy the show.